So talk a little bit about working with Noah, because I just spoke to him, and apparently he wrote this character with you in mind.
That's great to hear. Yeah, I love working with him because he writes characters for me to play. You know, and I think he's a brilliant writer, and he has this amazing ability to, to observe human, behavior, relationships, and find these little nuances that he can expound on and focus on, and find the humor within it, but he also doesn't make movies that are sort of just in one genre or another.
Obviously a much different character than Greenberg,
yeah,
but
yeah.
Does he give you the opportunity to kind of ad-lib? Can you bring your own stuff to the table when you feel like it?
No. There's no ad-libbing. I mean, it's actually great because he spends a lot of time working on the script, and every word is there for a reason, and even the punctuation. So it's not a thing that I find constraining at all. I actually find it really freeing, because you then have to figure out how to make those words work and why they work. And that's something I think as actors nowadays, there's so much improvisation in movies. If you can't figure out how to make something work, you go, oh, let me say this instead. And that's really the actor kind of coming up with their own point of view on what the writer's trying to say, as opposed to actually trying to interpret what the writer is trying to say. So with Noah, it's you know that going in, and we discuss it, we talk about it, months ahead of time, and then it's just working it, and it can be very different within the same words.
When we meet your character in the film, he's kind of going through a rough patch in his life. I mean, how would you describe where he is mentally when we first meet him?
Well, I mean, Josh is a guy who's sort of, a creative guy who's sort of obsessed with his work and what he's working on, but he's a little bit stuck. He's been working on the same documentary for 10 years. So that should tell you
exactly.
his state of mind. And in that 10 years, look how, the filmmaking process has changed, or and social media has changed the way people communicate with each other, and what all of it. Just like there's been so much change in the last 10 years, and I think he's been a guy with his nose to the grindstone, sort of trying to be true to the ideals that he has from growing up and around filmmakers. He's a documentary filmmaker, and people are trying to find the truth. And what Noah is talking about in the movie, I think, is this idea that now, with access to so much, and the younger generation, the idea of what's original, what's created from nothing or created from other media or things that exist or stories, is all sort of up for grabs. And it's an interesting dilemma that we're dealing with now.
Is there a part of you that can kind of relate to what that mindset that he has?
Sure. I mean, I like to sort of focus on one thing, and I think there's something in Josh, though, that's kind of, by working on something for that long, there's probably some sort of fear of putting it out to the world and, letting them own it and have that process happen, which is when you're finished with something, people then, it's theirs, and they get to talk about it and judge it, and it's, so I think, that part of the creative process is something that, we all have to deal with, but it might be, sometimes it's the hardest part of it, really, but I could identify with them on a lot of different levels.